in the hall of smart TVs here at Best Buy. We got tons of them. LG, Samsung, Vizio, you name it, they all make them. Many of us will be getting them and or giving them this holiday season. Question is, what will we do with them after we get them? Connect them to the home network? Is that something we should be doing? Let's take a closer look. Okay, smart TVs. I have grown to absolutely love my smart TVs. The convenience that they provide, unmatched, right? I can pick up my phone, go into the YouTube app, the Netflix app, the AT&T Now app, any of them, hit the cast button. I've got a list of smart devices in the home, choose one, and we're off and running. However, I do believe that it's important to recognize the possible dangers, the possible concerns that exist or that come along with these devices. So in this video, I'm going to give you just a little bit of detail as to what that's all about. All right, I'm back from running errands, and so we're going to do a little bit of a test, an observation. To help with that, I have in the lab a smart TV. In addition to the smart TV, I've put together something pretty neat, and I'd like to walk you through what we have before we get into the analysis. So let's take a look at that. All right, so what we have on the bench here, so I've got a Raspberry Pi 2. Nothing special, nothing overpowered here. This is 2011 vintage. Integrated Ethernet port, HDMI power. What I've done is I have added to this Raspberry Pi a 2-port gigabit NIC. So now with the addition of this, my total number of Ethernet ports is now 3. I'm using the internal port for management purposes and the 2 external ports via the USB. These are where the special sauce begin. And basically what that means is I have loaded the Linux bridge utilities on this Raspberry Pi. Once I did that, I configured these 2 additional ports to be ports within that software bridge. This gives me the ability to now connect the smart TV to one of the ports and then take the other port on this 2-port NIC and connect that to the main network. Pointing a tool such as TCP Dump to this virtual bridge or software bridge now gives me the opportunity to view all traffic going to the TV and maybe more importantly, coming from the TV. A couple of hours ago, I started a TCP dump on the Raspberry Pi. So we'll go ahead and we'll stop that now. And it looks like we've captured about 10,000 packets. That's not too bad. If you're interested in the command line that I used to pull this off, I'll walk you through it. Here we go ahead and run the TCP Dump utility. I'm pointing it to the bridge interface that I talked about a little bit earlier. I'm only interested in traffic destined to or coming from the TV itself. I happen to know that its IP address is this right here. And I'm going to write the output of TCP Dump to this file. Now I'm simply creating a file that begins with TV dump dash output, and then I'm putting a dash there and taking the current date and time down to the second and making that the file name. Now, to help put a fine point on this, I have installed on my machine a utility known as a packet capture and analysis tool. In this case, Wireshark. You'll recall from earlier in the video, I started a packet capture process with TCP Dump, and that file that I wrote out with the -w parameter, we're now going to analyze the contents of that file so that I can highlight some things that should be of interest to you relative to any IoT device really, but in this example, we're going to be focused on, as you know, the smart TVs. So let me get a terminal session going. And I'm going to start Wireshark and open up that file that we put our contents into. So now we'll bring Wireshark into view. And you'll notice that I've got a lot of information here. We let this run. We let TCP dump run for a few hours. We have over 10,000 packets or frames in this capture. Let's make some sense of it all. The first thing that I want to bring to your attention is to highlight how the smart TV in this case is utilizing the Internet address book to get to information. So if we bring this into view, I'll go back to the top and you'll see a lot of interesting things. Again, all I did was power on the television. I keep saying television. I should probably be saying panel or display or something more modern, but you get what I mean. It begins to look up some interesting destinations. We see Netflix. So there's a Netflix app on the smart TV looking for the Netflix API endpoints to do what it does. Here's another destination at Netflix, and you'll see that repeat. We see Samsung QBE, public address, samsungcloudsolution.net. This is a CNAME or an alias. And this kind of behavior goes on and on. Let's see what else we see here. Netflix again, Samsung Cloud. All right, what is this? ACR US PRD Internet AT.TV. Not sure what that is. We have a destination here. It looks like this is hosted in Amazon Web Services. Web search capability. More AWS hosted nodes. So interesting. Without us doing anything, the television, the smart display, the panel is going out and looking for things on the internet. Maybe benign, but we don't know yet. Here's a lookup for Google resources. And again, this list goes on and on, very much like this. There's a lookup for Yahoo. Very interesting. Now, this is how the smart display is using the Internet address book, also known as DNS, to locate the addresses for services, we'll call them, on the internet. Let's take it a step further. How's the smart display using HTTP, which is the Hypertext Transfer Protocol? It's a protocol used to transfer data, for a whole lot of reasons in these days. But to simplify it, this is the protocol used to get information to your Google Chrome or Safari or Edge browser and help you see the contents of the website in a nice user-friendly manner. So let's take a look at that traffic. And what we see here is information, frames that represent what's called the UPnP dialog. So universal plug and play, this is a protocol that an increasing number of smart devices will utilize to discover what the capabilities are of devices on the network. So one example is you open up your AT&T Now app or your YouTube app. There is a little cast button in that user interface that you can touch. When you touch that, you get a list of devices on your network that are available to cast to. That is all brought to you as a result of this UPnP dialog. And as I click on these entries, you can see some semblance of that content here in the decode. All right, so we see UPnP 1.0, the length of the content, et cetera, et cetera. So again, benign. This is all cool stuff. Helps to deliver that convenience that many of us have come to depend upon in our homes. No big shakes. Now, this next one is where potentially we get a little bit concerned. So I'm now going to take a look at how the smart device is utilizing encrypted or secure HTTP. You know, in your browser, hopefully when you visit your banking website, you notice that your address bar doesn't have HTTP. It has HTTPS or secure HTTP. That is otherwise known as HTTP on port 443, which is what we'll filter for now. And what we see here is it looks like a lot of failed connections with the black and red, but there is at least an attempt here by the smart TV, smart display, to communicate outwardly. And I believe this 34193, I believe that resolves to one of those AWS destinations. There is an attempt to communicate outwardly over secure HTTP. Now, on the surface, that's a good thing. We're going to send some information out. We want to make sure that it can't be seen by third parties. Life is good. But on that same token, I wonder, what is the smart device trying to send? What is it capturing and ultimately sending to this destination? So that's kind of the moral of this story. Connecting these devices provides a tremendous level of convenience. I totally get that and acknowledge that. I myself, in a lot of ways, depend upon that. But just be careful, be mindful of the potential consequences, I guess I would say, in doing so. So what do you think? Enlightening? At least informative? Are you going to disconnect all of your smart devices from the home network? I'm not, but are you going to take precaution? So what you can do, and this does require a bit of technical knowledge, but moving into a model where, well, first off, this kind of assumes that you can hardwire your smart devices to your home network. Wi-Fi makes this a little bit more complicated. It can still be done, but requires a bit more effort and, I dare say, investment. You can front end these smart devices with something like a Raspberry Pi and take advantage of the security features enabled within. I won't get into that in this video, but perhaps that's a great idea for another video where we talk about using a Raspberry Pi to perhaps lock down what your smart devices are able to do. Or if you've got the right type of router / firewall on your home network, implementing some security controls there to protect or control is probably a better word, control what those smart devices are able to send out of your home network. But there are a few options. Again, I'm not going to disconnect mine. The convenience we enjoy too much here around the house, but I am likely to take additional precaution to make sure that we're not inadvertently leaking information that we don't want to be leaked. So I'll wrap this one up here. I hope you're doing well. I hope that didn't scare you, but I'm all about providing information on this channel. So make it a great day, evening, morning, whatever, wherever you are, and you will see me in the next one. Take care.